What is good, my people, my peeps? How are you guys doing on this evening? Tonight, we have passed the evening, right? Sabbath, Shabbat. Hey, what is going on? So, before I lay it down, I basically wasted a whole day today. You heard me right. I basically wasted a whole day today. Uh, yeah, done. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I am most definitely done um, giving gang stalkers any attention. Okay? Today was, to say the least, uneventful. Watching them, just out of curiosity, I guess. Just out of pure curiosity, because I had stopped watching gang stalkers a while back, right? But just out of pure curiosity, I found myself intrigued by the foolishness that is called gang stalking. Uh, so done. I'm done giving any energy to watch them. But I said before I go to sleep tonight that I would give a full report. I dropped a little sarcasm in my community feed tonight. I gave them a rating out of 10. You know how Mr. Samuels used to do, and how some of these people do, foodies, and they give ratings of services or, you know, events or people that they notice. So I gave their performance, the Gang Stalkers' performance, a rating tonight, a 2 out of 10. A 2 out of 10 because it was sloppy. It was sloppy. And really, it was, how can I say, a circus, right? It was like a circus, just watching them all just run around like Keystone Cops. I just, it just had me just so at awe. And then I'm driving around just to see who's following how many, just dumb stuff. So I found myself doing dumb stuff uh, because they're doing dumb stuff. And I think that's, I guess, basically some things that they want. They want you to participate in the foolishness, which is called gang stalking, to pay them attention. So, what I noticed, I know we had a discussion last night, and I was telling you guys about how we are in lockdown, and these are we we already know this is like military and police and all that are involved in gang stalking. But as I watched the foolishness unfold today, I also know that this can be independent people. They can be people who are just gang stalking you because of anything, anybody's hatred towards you. From my observation of how disorganized it was today. Um, yeah, and then I saw, I paid attention to the drone one more time, and it shocked me because it was two potential people that I seen that possibly was operating the drone. And last night I said, well, it's military. It has to be a military drone. It's up in the air right now, and that's a pun, but it's up in the air, meaning my decision if it was a military drone or if that's just a personal drone. Okay, um, that is up in the sky because it's so very close, and so uh, I wanted to clarify that also tonight that is a that's up for debate if that is a military drone. or a personal drone. So, yeah, with gang stalking, in the beginning, I think it's more of the military, more of the alphabet crew, FBI or CIA or local police involved, and then it carries on, right, with the ambulance zooming by you, and also it carries on with some people get a lot of the cop patrolling coming by you and all of that, right? But as gang stalking grows and people they know about it, right? I believe it's more civilians are involved than really it being more of that organized gang stalking with the covert and overt, and how strategic it was for many of us in the beginning. After today, watching the buffoonery that took place in so many different the faces, it this definitely has evolved into somewhat of a different culture, I believe. In So we have to incorporate that as well into what we know as gang stalking. It is not just, and I have to reiterate this, it is just not um, the military and the CIA, FBI, and the police and all of that. This has also become some kind of cult like following of people that are sent. Okay, so, and I just want to thank all of you gang stalkers, all of you who have, followed me on my platforms. Thank you for your follows. So I just want to get that out there really quick. um, yeah, so with these millennials, I believe, and it's not all millennials, because trust me, from my observation of the people driving around looking like the Keystone Cops today, they're not just all millennials, but there are a majority of millennials, the younger generation. And, that's when things evolve, they can either grow and become better, or they can fall apart. And I believe this system of gang stalking has grown, and it's starting to actually fall apart at the seams, because people are utilizing gang stalking for their own benefits. Okay, and it it's just not worth even paying attention to. I just wanted to actually pay attention, because I seen, remember I talked about the swarm, right? And by me talking about that, any little notes that they can get from our conversations that we have, they try to uh, enact them or bring them to life. Okay, um, it was just, uh, my goodness, it was just foolish. It was very foolish, and that's why I said it's not like it was. And that's why even on these platforms, you see so many fake TIs that are really narcissists, um, trying to play on the fact of what real TIs have gone through. You also see this is a way to target people as well, from their platforms. Okay, guys. So I just want you to be aware of that, which I'm sure pretty much most of you guys who are real targeted individuals are aware of how uh, the social media is used. So I want to also talk about why they take our pictures. I cannot confirm or um, give you any uh, explanation for those who are the ones that were targeted earlier on, right? When it was more of a covert operation, and it was ran very they ran a tight ship. Now it's just loose, and everybody is trying to make a name for themselves or just be a part of something, and it's just like a joke now. It really is. So I can't tell you why they took our pictures before, but as of today, from my observations, I do know, and from the many followers that I have gained, uh, they take our pictures so that they can not send it necessarily to a handler or a perp. These are millennials. These are people who are they're going off of like clout, or trying to be a part of a social status amongst a small group of people. Um, and I say small group compared to the military, okay? Compared to networks of police and larger organizations. It's a smaller group of people who have maybe followings on social media platforms and so on and so forth. So these people are trying to be a part of that. And so the pictures that are being taken now are the pictures so that they can send it, text it to other people who that they can get on board, or who wants to join in the mayhem. Now, I do believe that they're getting some type of funding based on simply the license plates, and then they would have to travel to cross state lines. Okay. So, and then the way that their vehicles are actually, um, what's the word I want to, what's the word I'm thinking of? Maintained or presented in a state, because certain states have certain rules and regulations for vehicles, right? So, if you are in a state and your vehicle is supposed to be in a certain manner, you normally comply because you live in that state, and so you wouldn't want to be always getting citations or something for not having license plates, or not having or having tint too dark, or so there's certain requirements on cars. So you can tell that these are gang stalkers, and they're in your state for a brief time period, uh, simply by their vehicles. Okay, let's see. Yours is FBI, CIA, and all the above. Yeah, well, I believe if you are, you know, were gang stalked. I don't know when your gang stalking started, but um, I say earlier on, a lot of our targeting, that's how it started. And it was very hard to detect what was going on. But if I just would have took out my camera and just started showing you the buffoonery that took place today, you would know that that's not the CIA. That they weren't CIA, and they were not FBI or any military personnel. You might have had a few military personnel involved, but not. Mm, not from what I witnessed today. Let's do this. They were targeting you last week. Yeah. I mean, like, we all know that it's not going to stop. I try to do this video. I don't know if it's too long or whatever, but eventually I'll get it out there, where a woman, the veil is falling, guys. The veil is definitely falling. And things are being revealed. And so this woman, they tap our phones, they hack our phones, and her smart TV was hacked and somehow had a glitch or a malfunction in the TV where she was looking at the police, and them moving apps around in her smart TV and just manipulating. She could see the apartment and the layout of the apartment. So that was interesting. It was something that we always knew, right? It's something we always knew. I mean, even basic everyday people know that by now that they're looking or they watch us through our phones or different things like that. But to actually see it come through her TV like it was, and I'm glad she caught that. And she actually knew that it was gang stalking, and which I was happy that she said that in her video. Um, and more people are just being aware of it, and that's why I say the more people that are being aware of it, it's also causing more and more um, youth that have no direction to be aware of it as well. And you know what? It's not, and I don't want to just put youth down, because there are some adolescents, young adults, and there are older adults that find themselves never having direction, and they've always had to try to cling on to others via groups, right? So that's why you also, I believe, see older people, um, uh, and it might be something for them to do, because sometimes I see older people with a whole head full of gray try to gang stalk, right? So go figure. Uh, they don't want to be in a nursing home, so I guess it's better to be on the streets, gang stalking and getting whatever little stipends that they get, whatever monies that they get. But you if you've been gang stalked by any organization, professional, and I'm just using that term loosely, professional organization, you will be able to tell the difference when you start seeing gang stalkers who are part of uh, just a group of people that don't like you, right? Or you rub somebody the wrong way and they've heard of gang stalking, so they take it upon themselves to start gang stalking you. I mean, you even see people that look like they supposed to be in a gang doing gang stalking. It's just become open season for just uh, I don't even know the word that I want to even use. It just looks foolish. And so I said, I watched it all today. I couldn't even concentrate, because I was like, wow, this is just, it's not, when we, as target individuals, those of us that are true target individuals, and when these organizations such as the FBI, CIA, and Army or whatever, um, when it was time to go overt, right? When it was time to let you know that you had been gang stalked, they had already gathered all the information that they needed on you. They had already studied you. They had already tapped into your everything, your homes, your devices. So they knew pretty much your habits. And so when it was time for them to go overt instead of covert and hidden, it was a shock. That was a shock to your system. If you see these gang stalkers now, there's no shock to your system. It's not a shock. It's like it's like children outside playing, um, but these are grown adults. I mean, couples riding around with their children in the car, y'all. And I knew, because I believe several years ago, I used to be blown away by people using their kids or having their children with them, right? And gang stalking, or even like it seemed like they was training their children to be gang stalkers, right? And so several years ago, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But it's like normal now. These people, they load their children up in the back seat, put them in their low car seat, and they take them with them to gang stalk. I'm like, wow. Teenagers with their mothers and fathers, husbands and wives. And so it's just like a free for all. Whoever can get the call to go gang stalk, they're going to travel. They're going to travel. And by them, and if you notice this, if you start noticing a lot of out of state license plates, then you know that they came via an organization, not necessarily being the military, not necessarily being, these higher up organizations. They came because they were paid to come um, by someone. You know, just I just want you to take note of that. Um, it was there was a empty parking lot that had been empty for several years, and I had passed it today, and there's all these cars there, and some of them look like the cars that are used to gang stalk. And I said, well, let me ride through here really quick, and some of them were, and I was like, and it almost looked as if these cars were brought in and also, put there as if they were bought from an auction, but that wouldn't be a place where you would park cars. And then see, for me, I'm just one of those type of people that have always been observant of my surroundings, and I notice things, odd things like that. And so for some people, it's hard to pinpoint vehicles, right? But they know they're being followed. And I thought to myself, I wonder if some of these cars were brought in for gang stalkers once they get into town, that they can rotate these vehicles out with, right? I'm not sure, and I said I would go back and investigate, but at this point, I really don't care. I really don't care. It's just a waste of time. Like you've heard many, most likely not gang stalkers, but targeted individuals say, don't focus on them, don't pay them no attention. Really don't. I just wanted to see um, what the foolishness was, because it just seemed so today when all of the cars I'm used to seeing swarming, that's nothing new, but the way it was done and the technique, uh, it was remedial. It had no it almost reminded me of how, I don't know if they still have them, but back in the day they had secret shoppers, and they could hire people to look like average person and go into a store and just basically rate the store. That's why I was kind of being I don't know if you read my community post, I was being sarcastic when I posted their rating that I gave them today. But these companies hire secret shoppers to go in with their average clothes and just to go in and look and see how a store is treating their customers, how customer service is, and the cleanliness of the store, and so on and so forth. Um, so it reminded me of these people being like secret shoppers gone rogue. Just they know they're supposed to be at a store at a certain time, but they're trying to get in and get out so that they can go to hit a lot of stores. So then the cycle or the sequence is off, and then the store manager and the employees begin to start to be aware that this is not normal, and that person seems to be taking notes and asking certain questions, or so it it undermines the secret shopper program, if you understand what I'm saying. um, when there's no organization to it, or the program has been infiltrated by other people using it, and hoping and wishing that a lot of targeted individuals just keep blaming the military, the CIA, and I'm not giving them a pass by no means, and the police department. Um, some people, let me say that again, that work in those organizations are gang stalkers. Um, these lower gang stalkers, these bottom tier gang stalkers, and the people who send them, they're, in my opinion, they're hoping and praying that we keep our focus on these military installations, our police departments, and not be aware that there are lower tiers of people who are sending gang stalkers as well. And um, and you can tell just by how they their job performance, just by their job performance. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Um, so I thought that I would mention that, and that's why I said I'm done. It's not even worth it, because this program has truly been infiltrated. Truly. Yeah, mine is feds and local. Yep. Masons. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I forgot about the Masons. The Masons. Well, the Masons are all up and through military, the police. They're all up and through government. But you may have some lodges that have gone rogue. I mean, it's just nowadays it does not take much to ruffle people's feathers, and they're you know mm, because we have a society full of narcissists. And I try not to say that word too often because it just is so played. Because people, once we learned what a narcissist was, we had been dealing with them in our lives, and we just didn't know what type. It had a name. It had a diagnosis. These people um, actually could be diagnosed, and a lot of us didn't know that. So that's why I don't like to use it, because once we found out what it was, we just kept throwing it out there in society. Narcissists, narcissists. But truly, there are a lot of narcissists that are in the world. And I believe also social media created a lot of narcissists as well. And it made a lot of quick and fast superstars, if you will. And so it, it's not that it created that narcissist person was always there. It just enhanced and enabled their narcissist to breathe across social media platforms. And you know that by just the Bible, men will become lovers of themselves, and that's what's happening. Those are narcissists. And so they know about gang stalking. They utilize their power to do their form of gang stalking. What is this? Let me see. Oh, really? He knew his. was wrong. Of course, they all know they're wrong. Shoot, some of them they you know how we talked about smirks. Why gang stalkers have this kind of smirk on their face? Man, I held my camera up to some of them. They can't even hold their smile. They can't even hold, and I'll smile at them. And like I told you yesterday, I was messing and posing for the frame and all like that's just because that's the mood I was in yesterday, you know. But I am not gonna be in that mood all the time, and everybody's not going. We all go through different moods and stuff, and they know they're wrong because they have a little smile or a little smirk on their face because they know that they are doing wrong. And if somebody did it to them, and if that, that also is what I can't even understand how they don't think that and I spoke on this before, that energy, that evil won't affect the children that they have buckled up in the back seats. How do they not think that will not affect their children? We talked about this last night. The sins of your father you will pay for. You don't even care, gang stalkers, about your children. We talked about that. We talked about how Esau cannot understand, and he says, I didn't have you in slavery. It's 2023. Why will I pay for my father's sins? Right? And then they say Jake has curses on him, right? And Jake does right now have curses on him, but that is lifting, that is changing. And Jake was cursed by his fathers, his forefathers, from breaking the commandments. So you have gang stalkers that literally do not care about their children. Literally. And you have people who have sent gang stalkers after you that don't care about the generations to come after them. Literally. Because they know that it's wrong. They know that it's wrong to try to intrude on anyone's life, right? To try to intrude or manipulate or cause any harm to anyone, whether it's from a distance or whether it's up close. They know that it's wrong. And they don't care. And they don't care that they have a house full of children. They don't care that their husband, even if they don't have children, their husband is in the car or their wife, their spouse is in the car. They don't care what their actions are actually causing, because when you generate energy, it goes places. It doesn't dissipate. Okay, I mean, you have been given these laws of physics when you are shown how a rock or a stone is thrown into a pool of water, and how the ripples, which is caused by the energy caused from the stone being thrown into the water, how those ripples ripple out into the rest of the ocean. They don't go anywhere. They ripple out until they build into a wave or whatever happens with those ripples. But they do not, the stone doesn't get tossed into the ocean and nothing happens. You have that also with the butterfly wings of the monarch butterfly. You know, their wings produce wind. This wind does not just not go anywhere. These are energy waves that are sent out. So if a monarch butterfly can create energy waves simply by batting its wings, right? Uh, do you not think the human that was placed on this earth to govern the earth, the energy that they simply create by moving, by being, by their actions, uh, does that energy just go nowhere? Of course not. Of course not. And the beauty most people it'll affect is the people in their own homes, their own households, because they generated that hateful and ugly energy. And and people grow up and wonder why, you know, it's the blame game. You see it all on social media, especially in the Black community, blaming the Black woman for everything. Uh, it's a whole generation of people who have done things, and it comes back because energy does not dissipate; it just flows. Okay. Yes, indeed, it just flows. Your ex-girlfriend. Oh, no, damn, that's right. Someone had a camera on, talking me up. Was that Edom? Was what? Eastern Star? And I warned you about them using her to scout out, to scout me. What? Really? Why would they want to attack you, though? I mean, did they want you to join the Masons? FBI. Hold on, y'all. I'm reading. I have up here for y'all to read. FBI. Whistleblowers, followers, and harassed parents who spoke out against school policy. Yep, I seen that too. I what did I see that on? One of the social media platforms. Yep. Simply by going to a back in the day, that used to be the popular thing to do if you wanted to be a good parent, is to go to the conferences. You know how you had parent night, and how you had the, the the school board hearings and things like that. That it was oh, look at that parent. They support their children in the school. Honey, these parents got put on the list to be gang stalked simply by going to the doggone school board meeting because of some policies that they did not agree with. You see how it had just deteriorated with this? And I'm not saying that it was on a better level. I'm just saying it's deteriorated as far as they use it for every little thing. That's why I said they're narcissists. These people, they use gang stalking for every little infraction that somebody has done to them. That and they know that there are people out here that just will follow the the crowd just to be a part of something. you know, and it's sad that you can't even go and speak out against whatever's going on in your child's school. I mean, goodness, if you see some of the things that they're putting in these children's schools, they're taking out. They don't want critical theory in their school. Just talking about what Black folks went through, or any of that in their schools to teach the children, because it might cause Edomite, or otherwise known as white children, to um, you know understand that they did some wrong in history and be shamed about that. They don't want them to have any shame about what took place. Um, but they'll put books in the schools telling our swaying children to be homosexuals, or bisexuals, or transsexuals, or all of that, which you see where the world is going. You see where the world is going. So it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I said, I'm done. I cannot focus on these people any longer. I just wanted to come and report to you guys. And let me throw these up here. I don't know. Read all of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. And yeah, I just wanted to come on and say that I wasted enough energy on them, and just some of the things that I observed, and just it's just a hot mess. One of those blank shows, right? Just if you pay attention to them, I guarantee you'd be mad at yourself. Let them do what they do. Don't give them your energy at all. You know, if possible, don't give them your energy. Let them basically um, curse their their generation of children. And what's sad is that there's not much time left. There's not much time left to get it right. Um, and a lot of the these younger children, babies, um, won't have time to. Well, luckily they'll be children, so the Most High God will probably have grace on them and mercy. But a lot of these younger gang stalkers, these millennials, their time is short, and obviously they don't they don't understand it. They don't know it. They don't know how short time is. They're not even paying attention to the world around them. For them paying attention to trying to stalk somebody, they're not understanding how the earth is changing, and um, and how the sun it's gonna take out a lot of people. Uh, uh, and I say the sun, but we know it's new um, from the changes, and a lot of people that are going to be taken out are people who are doing wrong. Uh, Point blank, period. And these people should know that they're doing wrong. It's not, I didn't know. If you're following somebody and taking their picture information and distributing them without their will, you're doing wrong. So it won't be any excuses for them until they wake up and repent. And I hope for their sake that they have that opportunity, because time is definitely ticking, and it has sped up because the Most High God is speeding it up, is speeding time up, causing this planet, this pole shift. Uh, so, you know, just gang stalkers, I have tried and tried to tell you, get your life. Yeah, get your life. Get your life together, gang stalkers. But none of you gang stalkers said anything about your fellow gang stalkers out of New York. But I told you it was some kind of chemicals in that air. Nobody's talking about the gang stalkers, um, fellow buddies, because obviously it's a network of you all. Uh, just pay attention to that. If you're a gang stalker, pay attention to your future, um, your benefit packet from your company. That's your benefit packet. Pay attention to New York, because I'm sure that there are gang stalkers in New York right now that weren't notified to get out of New York. So that's how your company is going to be treating you. They're not going to give you a gold watch and tell you it's your time, you got to go, or just bluntly fire you for no apparent reason. But other than they're part of gang stalking and job mobbing, right? Uh, no, your company policy benefits will include poisoning and letting you die off, and not giving two F's about what happened to you or your family while you were out here stalking people, you will be treated like the gang stalkers in New York currently are being treated. They are amongst the people that they gang stalked, but the people who will soon succumb to the poisonous gases that are in the air in New York, well, some of them will be much better off than the gang stalkers that have hunted them down, right? Because some of them may know the Most High and some of them may not, but some of them definitely are better off than the gang stalkers who were doing evil. And their business packet, their benefit packet included death to them because nobody, as a gang stalker representative, I'm sure told them to get out before that dirty bomb went off. Nobody. That's your benefit package. And I don't know why you can't see that. And so, let's see. Soon these other nations won't even be able to come outside. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, my goodness, like today and yesterday, I was driving around and parked the car just because sometimes you can just roll the windows down and catch a breeze. Baby, it's hot outside, and I enjoy the heat. That's why I stayed in Texas. I can, assimilate to the heat. I don't know if, y'all gang stalkers are going to be able, if you're, or not just the gang stalkers, like you were saying, the other nations are going to be able to deal with what's to come. And it is truly getting hotter. It is truly getting hotter. It is truly getting hotter. Trust it. Take it from me. Even if you're in a state and the sun is not as intense as it is in Texas, because we know Texas, our sun, uh, we get hot weather first and foremost, but it's hotter than most. It's gonna be different for a lot of people, but I just want to come on here and update y'all, tell you I'm done. My energy is not going to be wasted on paying attention to the gang stalkers. It just intrigued me of how they were performing so horribly that I had to watch it. Watch it. It was like watching the Keystone Cops or a circus, y'all. And so, I have to apologize to y'all and to myself for paying attention to these buffoons out here. Y'all keep your head up, keep pushing, and stay positive. You know, even though we're in the midst of evil, even though we are in the midst of evil, stay positive. Don't let these gang stalkers, these perps, take your joy, because that's definitely what they want to do, and that is what Satan wants to do, because he's known for killing, stealing, and destroying, right? But his time is certainly short. And I'm out, and much, much love.